this train. So Lord, we thank you in advance.
Good God afternoon, people of God. You have tuned into The Solutions. I'm your host, Minister Corey Wright, with co-host extraordinaire April the Agent, the multi-talented April the Agent. Co-host extraordinaire. Thank you for tuning in. As always, we know what the problems are. We know what we need to do to solve them. What I offer on this platform is solutions, dedicated active action to bring about true change, not just talked about change, and no excuses. Excuses are man's tools of incompetence that build bridges to nowhere and monuments of nothing. Broadcasted live from IntellectualRadio-Podcast, our high radio station. People of God, thank you for tuning in. It's going to be a hot show. But before I go there, let my co-host say something and introduce herself and say a good word right quick.
April the Agent in the house, and poetess Ebo. You can call me Butterfly. Just keep it short and sweet. I'm glad to be here. This is going to be a hot show. I hope you guys call 708-223-8953 and comment. We like to hear from you. I know everybody has something to say about this subject because we're all affected by it. And we just want to hear from you.
All right. Do you have a piece prepared for us?
I can do a piece.
I mean, you got a piece. We can get right into it, you know.
Okay.
You want to get right into it? You got a piece? What?
We can get right into it.
Look at it. You ain't got no piece today. I'm going to ask me no piece today. Today, we're on the Solutions Radio Show. We are exposing the lie that we live in impoverished ghetto communities. Actually, we live in very rich communities that's full of resources, full of money, and full of property. There's only one problem, people of God. We don't own nothing. All these businesses, I want you to really think about this. In the city of Chicago, we have 9.5 million people, 4 million employees, and over 265,000 businesses. Do you know how many Black-owned businesses there is out of 265,000? This number blew me away. It's staggering. Out of 265,000 Black-owned businesses, there's only 71. 71 Black-owned businesses out of 265,000. And this information can be looked up on the Freedom of Information Act. And you can see legitimate businesses that actually are making money that have employees. You looking at business now, you have a lot of people that got little shops and little stuff where they sole proprietors and things of that nature. But I'm talking about businesses, and I'm going to go through all of them on the show. And see, then another thing that's going to blow you guys away, I want you to think about something. We're going to really talk about this today, okay? This is what I want you guys to think about that blew me away. There is 1,192,544 properties in Chicago. Homeowners, properties, and ownership in Chicago. Here's the thing I want you to really think about. We own less than 19% of that number. And this is going to really blow you away. The majority of the women and fathers in the communities that's burying their young kids or burying their people do not own their own property. We have so much blood that's spilled on these streets and on these sidewalks of people that don't even own it. Do you know the majority of people of the 19% own it, but majority of us rent? Almost in Chicago, far as Afro-American people, I think it's 67% rent. Little over 30% own their own properties. So when you look at everything in these communities, far as the neighborhood, because see now, this is the thing we got to look at. We can always go to a corner store. We can always go to a gas station. We can always go to a Family Dollar. We can always go to these dollar stores. Only problem is you don't see us owning them. We're the number. Think about something. We spend almost 70% to 80% of our community's wealth and put it in somebody else's hand, but not our own hands. Now, when we look at that, we have people who purposely are set up in our communities. You have Indians, not saying that's not, I'm not, but you have Indians, you have Koreans, you have Chinese, you have Pakistanis, you have all these other races that come into our community and they make multi-million dollars a year in our community. They send their kids to the best schools, the best colleges. They come and BS you with liquor stores and everything because they know you're going to consume, and they're pulling away all our wealth. And then they tell us we live in a ghetto, or we have ghetto mentality, or we live in the inner city like there's a bad thing, like there's no money. See, we beg so much for people to give us something, but if we pool our own money, and I'm going to show you, because I'm going to go through all 71 businesses on this show, but I'm going to let April, because, you know, this is a passion thing about me, because it really burns me up. Because when you think about it, out of 265,000 businesses in Chicago, we only own 71 legitimate businesses. And when I go through this list of businesses a little bit later, I want you to see we own nothing in financial institutions. So nothing that empowers people. But I'm going to talk about globally how 7% of Black-owned businesses are sole proprietorships with no employees. So it's just like you're working for somebody else, but you're contained where you can't build, lift up, or grow the community. And people of God, we're going to get into some of these numbers. It's going to blow you away. Go ahead, April.
I was reading and I found that in 2013, Black economics as consumers, we make more than the entire continent of Spain. So right now, that was in 2013. Right now, we are in the billions. So we're over $1 trillion economically that we make in the Black community. But we're not spending it in the Black community. We're spending it. So we need to consume more with our own businesses that we own, and that we, proprietors that we know, and build our own businesses, because the money is there. We just need the know-how. We need to be educated more to build businesses and know how to save money and make money. But not there yet. So that's something that we all need to learn how to do better. Away. So we all need to do better in that area, learn how to save money and make money, build our communities, and teach our children about finances as we learn what we don't know, and become better at it with finances.
People, one thing that kills our community is that we don't have enough dreamers. We don't have enough people who believe in, let me create something of my own. See, I'm learning this because prior to this show, I have been looking for franchises and looking at things to get into, because I've been wanting to leave my job. And when I started to think about something, God was dealing with me, because he gave me 2 products, inventions that I have not done anything with, that I have the money to do so. And I've already made appointments with a couple of people to help me get this going. And I realized that I'd rather fail as Corey Wright than succeed in anybody else's plan. And the reason why I say that is because when you look at the trend of great people, from Steve Jobs to Bill Gates to wealthy people, from the guy that owned Facebook, everybody came up with something new that created a trend and a fad. And we have to get at it now. Ain't nothing wrong with taking a already great plan or position or product that's in place and learning from it. There's nothing wrong with that. But there are some great thinkers that can create great wealth by creating something that God gave you to do. But this is what I want you to really think about. In Illinois, there are 29 Fortune 500 headquarters. We have 7 in Chicago. 7 Fortune 500 companies headquarters. And you tell me, out of 265,000 businesses, all we have is 71. My brilliant co-host made a point that I wrote that down myself. Do you know the money that we spend in our communities, Chicago alone, but in the communities, in the inner city communities around the country, we can that money, we can put Spain, Australia, and Zimbabwe. We can take care of those countries for a year with just the money we spend in 1 year in consuming. The problem is we don't own nothing, so we have nothing coming back. We are consumer pitchers where we keep getting pulled out, but nothing is pulled in. Living, and then here's the thing. We think that we have to sell dope, or we think we have to do something illegal. We think we have to be what somebody wants us to be in order to make it or take a job. But we have the mind, the resources. All we have to do is take notice of that. You can't tell me in a black neighborhood that you can't go down a street and see a bunch of people, but I mean, a bunch of stores. You got stores everywhere. Everything you want is convenient to you. You just don't own nothing. And here's the thing. There's always a sale on the first of the month. Why is that? Because they know people going to get their money. I know some stores that'll let you pay, you buy liquor on food stamps. They'll let you buy anything on food stamps. I know a store right now, you can buy shoes off of food stamps. There are people right now selling a link. They get link cards and they sell them. You know why they sell them link cards? Because they want that little money. The stores don't mind because the stores are getting that link money. They don't mind. Or there are some people, the stores, they'll buy your link. I know some stores that'll buy your link from you. The store's like, okay, you got $200 worth of link. I'll take it off you for $125. The store just made $75 worth of profit on link because they got your link. God, we are spending everything we got, but we have nothing in our communities. We have nothing in our pockets, and it is a lie. It is a great big lie. We got plenty of money. We got plenty of properties. We got plenty of resources. Problem is we don't own nothing. Go ahead.
We don't know how to use that to our advantage, use our properties, use our finances to our advantage. We need to do that. How to do that. We need to learn how to turn our money into profit where it works for us. 100 years ago, we were not perceived as a viable market of people where we couldn't contribute because we were limited to the areas that we lived in. We weren't near big cities and marketplaces. We were confined to being sharecroppers or working under with Jim Crow laws and things of that nature. And right now, today, some of the mentalities are still the same. You're still in prison with that in your mind because of your past. Grandmother, grandfather, going back and back and back, and you just don't have that faith in yourself to know that you can do it and you can make it and you can do more and be more. The opportunities are endless out here. You're alive. So I don't care if you're 75 or 7. I don't care if you had so you don't have kids. You're alive, so you can still make it. You can still make a change in your mind, change for your life. If you change your mind, you have to change your mind and believe in yourself. So I just say go forth and just start learning, start reading, start looking things up online. Talk to people who are in the community that own businesses, because I'm sure there's it says it's 8 laws of separation or 6 laws of separation. Is probably just 3. Somebody own a business or know somebody who owns a business. So just start. They can't hear us. Somebody owns a business, so just start talking to people and getting educated. And the people who own businesses and have financial know how to grow finances need to also communicate and stop feeling like it's enough money out here to share the information. So we just need to share the information. Can they see us? No, they need to share the information with us. I don't know if you guys can hear us. I know you can't see us. But it wasn't me this time. Yay! It wasn't my fault. So we just need to address those issues and just start being better educated about finances. We need to get out of the mentality that we can't do it and we don't have the money, because the money is there. We just choose to spend it um, in the ways that we know about to spend it. We need to seek out. We need to seek out Black-owned businesses. Start with one thing that you consume on a regular basis, or a group of things that you consume on a regular basis, and that could help. For me, just being simple, I just something to start with is we get our nails done. So instead of going to other nationalities getting your nails done, seek out a Black nail tech. I have a Black nail tech, and I refer people to my Black nail tech. Every now and then I do take a break from my nails, which I have now. I cut them all off and I just let them get a rest. But when I go get my nails done, I go to a Black nail tech. Sometimes she's busy just like any other nail tech, so I am seeking out a couple of more nail techs to look at, and I will refer them if they're thebomb.com. So just, start doing that. Start seeking out Black to spend your money with.
People, that's just crazy. I'm sorry. That's just crazy equipment that the owner got. He gonna wait and get his own crazy but equipment. So
I hope you guys can hear us now. And then I'm hearing like the issues with some people saying they don't like to go to Black establishment because they're treated rudely by the owners, or the prices are too high, and these type of things. It's a two-way street. Everything is always a two-way street. As Black business owners, you need to get off of your high horse and stop treating people improperly. Treat people how you want to be treated. When you go into someone's establishment, you don't want nobody looking at you crazy or following you around or giving you, putting their nose up at you, maybe because you're dressed a certain way or they don't expect you to have the funds in your pocket. If I'm in your establishment looking, I could be browsing, or I could be wanting to make a purchase. So doing that so that we are able to get, more consumers to come in our establishments and purchase and give referrals and tell other people to come in your establishments and purchase. A lot of times in the Black communities, the products may be a little bit more expensive. A part of that is because a lot of times it's harder for Black owners to get certain products. The products that they're purchasing they're charged a higher price for it a lot of time because of the racism and different reasons why they're charged a different amount. So they have to be able to stockpile and make sure they have the supplies that they need. So it may be a little bit more, but once we start contributing to those establishments more, they can lower their prices. Once they have enough consumers coming in and they have enough revenue coming in, then they can charge, the lower prices. They can go down, and we're not in their establishment stealing, or I'm serious. Like,
I'm sorry, that's what you said.
Like, I'm not saying that all Black people steal, of course, not all Mexicans steal, not all, whoever people steal, but we need to go into our communities and into I'm gonna go steal your peppermints. How about that? We go into these establishments, and it needs to be a two-way street from the owner to the consumer. We need to be more well-rounded and with that village mentality again, and build up the communities and be like, when I come into the store, I'm going there so much where the person might know my first name, or I might know the name of the owner and his wife and his kids. You build a dialogue and build a relationship with these people in these establishments that are Black owned. So once we do that, we'll see the economic growth. It's not going to be overnight because it's not an overnight problem. So it's going to take a while to get there, but we can get there.
And people, let me know if you guys can hear us good, because let us know if you can hear us, if it sounds good, because I'm working with new equipment. I like the old equipment. I got to tell them bring back the old equipment. The new equipment, it works terrible. Y'all can't hear with the phone I got. But I want to, let's talk about something. What I want to talk about is it's all right to have businesses, but we need to have relevant businesses that will empower our community and that will put our community back to work and give us something. Let me run down the list of the 71 black businesses that we own. You know, these are the businesses that's in Chicago that we own in Chicago, and they're making money. But the question is, how many people they're putting to work? One business, number one, is Ain't She Sweet Cafe. Now that and I'm saying this now, and all these businesses, I hope you get a plug. I'm not saying anything wrong, but I want you to look at the trend of businesses we have in our community. So a lot of the businesses we have in our community are non-threatening. They're not threatening to the point. They're not dealing with finances, nor are they empowering our community. They're selling a product, but not empowering our community. The next one is A-Line Style Services. A-Line Style Services is another black business. Another one is Anita's Gumbo. Anita's Gumbo, supposed to be the best gumbo in the world. Anita's Gumbo. The next one is Batter and Berries. Now, Batter and Berries is pretty big. Batter and Berries, they got really good food. They're really good to be black owned. They're very good. They got great breakfast. They got great food, and they really got good service. So I like that. Another one is Beloved Osarichi Photography. Okay. Then you got Be Strategy PR. Be Strategy PR. I guess that's a PR firm. You have another one is Betty T.O. Day Spy. I might be saying it different, but you know, that's another one. Bianca Bell Cuisines. Now, I want you to think about how many restaurants I've already said. Another one that's pretty big is BJ's Market and Bakery. A lot of people like BJ's. BJ's got pretty good food. My girl loves BJ's Market. So that's another black-owned business. The Black Ensemble Theater, which has a lot of great black plays, a lot of great black history plays, a lot of things, okay? Then you have, now, here's one, the Black McDonald's Operators Association. Still McDonald's, but the Black McDonald's Operation Association. Then you have a company called Chicagoland. Then you got one called the Boss Network. Then the Bronzeville Boutique. Then you have another bakery called Brown Sugar Bakery. I know y'all know about Brown Sugar. Then we have a paper, the Chicago Defender. You know, you look at the Chicago Defender. Then we have another one, Chicago's home of chicken and waffles. Then you have Chuck Star Photography. Then you have Dartace Media Design. Then you have just a business called Dele Lachey. Dele Lachey. Well, I don't know what she does. Then you have Divine Healing Herbs. Then you have Darcy Glow. Then you have Dream Cafe and Grill. Then you had Eating Place for Enjoy a Corn, Essential Elements, ETA Creative Arts Foundation, Fashion Fair, Five Loaves Eatery, the Frog Shop, Ground Gorcher, I can't read my own. The Grand Ballroom, Habitually Fly, Harold Chicken Shack, H Dogs, Hair Park Hair Salon, the Intelligence Group. What do they do? Johnson Publishing Company, Karen Raw, Kiki's Boutique, Kobe's Canyon, Leon's Barbecue, Life Organics. Okay, we going up. MacArthur's Soul Food. I love MacArthur's. The M Lounge, Melly Organics, Mobile Nail Shop, Miss Biscuits, Norman's Bistro, Oasis Barber Studio, Optimal Placement Services. Now, I want you to think about something. Now, I'm on number 52. It took me to 52 businesses to get to one that's giving jobs in the community. Optimal placement service. Black-owned business giving jobs. I want you to think about something. Business prior to that was not threatening until I got to number 52 that's doing something in the community that is getting jobs. Think about that. We have restaurants, which is family owned. We have a lot of little things that's family owned that we got our relatives working where there is no impact in the community. There is no impact. Nobody's getting no jobs. Nobody's getting help. Here go a placement right here. Black-owned placement service was number 52. Original Soul Vegetarian, Parkway Ballroom, Peaches Restaurant, published affordably. The Rink, The Salam Restaurant, Sip and Dip, Sir and Madam, Silver Umbrella, Sean Michelle's Old Fashioned Homemade Ice Cream, Standout Style Boutique, Sweet Blooms Cupcakes, Sweet Maple Cake, Taurus's Flavors, Thank God I'm a Natural, Trilux, and Trilux, Trucks and Pearls, and Uncle Remus Fried Chicken. Out of that list of black-owned businesses, how many is dealing with the economical problems of our community? How many of these businesses that now that's what we own out of 265,000 businesses? If I was you, I'd be sitting right there. My stomach should be turning because you got all this wealth. And I haven't even got into the wealth that's being made in the billions in Chicago. The wealth is being made in Chicago when we're talking about billions of dollars being made that we own no part of it. You think about something. Every business, there is not one of these businesses outside of there are only on this list 2 and less than 5 businesses that make over $500,000 a year. Think about that, people. We own nothing, but we spend all these millions of dollars. What is that saying? What is that saying? We're making everybody else rich and not ourselves.
No, you said it all. You said it all. But Taurus's Flavors, I didn't know that was black-owned.
Black-owned. Taurus's Flavors. I think, and he's a Muslim.
Okay.
Because there's no pork there.
Okay.
Or everything. But the thing is that how many people are being hired? See, we've got in our minds that we have to go and take on somebody else's blueprint to be rich. We have to, because see, everything we do and taking on somebody else's blueprint is controlled by hierarchy. Because see, everybody's making money off you. And I'm going to tell you something, all you people, because I'm in slavery too. And I'm going to tell you something. If you think you're not in slavery, you are mistaken. Because if you work for somebody, you're enslaved. Because they tell you what you're going to make. They tell you when you got to be there. They tell you how much time you got for yourself. The only way for you to ever have something. And let's talk about history. See, we only go history. We always look at history as slavery days, and we look at it doing Jim Crow days. But we don't look at history in the late 1900s and the early 1800s when people were business like Rosewood, and you had Jones and Jamestown. You had all these places that had money. Rosewood was destroyed because of a lie by a Caucasian female, but they own their land, they own their businesses, they had money. And see, it's always been big business. Your slavery was not because they hated you, it was because of business. Because think about something. All the big banks like Wells Fargo, all these big banks was built off of slavery money. You got all these great wealthy people were built off of slave. They own slavery. It ain't like slavery been abolished for 1,000 years. Slavery just got abolished, 200, 300 years ago, if that. So, but they don't want to tell you that. Every time you look at something, it's always been somebody that, look at 12 years a slave. 12 years a slave, the guy that was sold into slavery for 12 years was a free man who owned and had property. He was tricked into slavery. Think about that. You own nothing. So what? You have few rights. You have a lot of organizations. You have a lot of opportunities, but you still don't own nothing. That's why your revolution and your Black Lives Matter and all this protesting means nothing, because your dollars ain't talking. Your mouth is, but not your dollars. Nobody is gonna listen. Nobody ain't got no money. You can stand all day and fuss and cuss, but your money, you ain't stopping the money. Start to control your dollars. People gotta listen. That's why when you ever been on an L and been on a Dan Ryan L, when you ever been on a Dan Ryan L, when you get past Chinatown, the stops start to change. It started to look different. They just now working on 95th Street L, but you look at the Ravenswood L's, you look at all these L's, they stuff is nice. Why? Because they got money. People, the only way they're going to ever respect our communities is we control our dollars. And the only way we control our dollars is we start spending money in their stores. Because you know why? Foreigners come over here and giving money just to open up a business in an inner city place. And because we're being robbed of our wealth, it's turning into ghetto. And for the record, ghetto is not a state of being. Ghetto is a mind. Because a ghetto is a mind thinking that all I got. That's why and then you got great pacifiers, which is liquor, drugs, and alcohol, to sit in our community. So you can get all you need easily. And you know what they bake on our communities with? One word: convenience. Listen, you ain't even got to come out your neighborhood. We'll come in your neighborhood and take your money. We'll take your money. You know? And every seal you bust is a government seal. Every seal, every cigarette pack you open and smoke is a government. And everybody making money. I'm going to tell you something. There are people paying taxes. You don't own them streets. All you hoodlum pseudo, I'm this, I'm that, I'm gangster this, you ain't nothing. You don't own them streets. All that blood is being spilled. And if you think I'm lying, look at gentrification. Look at Cabrini Green. For years, Cabrini Green and Robert Taylor Holmes spilled so much of our, I'm sorry, I know you won't get it. I'm going to get you get in. Spilled so much of our blood.
I'm not from here, so.
Cabrini Green spilled so much of our blood. The low end, they call it, down on the 30s and 40s, they call the low end, so much of our blood. And look what happened. They took the school that was on 39th and Michigan and made it to a condominium. Look at what they did at Cabrini Green. Put $1 million condos on Cabrini Green, $1 million business, and moved all those people out of there. You go to Robert Taylor Homes, not one building up there. You still see Beasley. You still see Greater Harvest, but you don't see. Then they turn Terrell into a school. DuSable is down there, but DuSable ain't bad like it used to be. And Terrell is a magnet school now for people. But all that blood that was spilled on the land, we don't own nothing. And if we don't own nothing, we ain't got no say. Go ahead, Ed.
Okay. So I'm gonna just go back to where you said that the protesting and cursing and fussing doesn't matter. I beg to differ. I think that it does matter because when you're out there protesting and you're shutting down establishments, then you cutting off money, and that money that's gonna make a difference. But once you get done shutting down that money, then that's when that community needs to take over that property and build on it. Maybe open up their own store, liquor store, whatever kind of store you want to have right there, and begin to become consumers for that particular establishment. Make sure it's something that is good and edifying for that particular area. And you talked about Rosewood. That's something that I, thought about a lot. I think I did a Facebook post about it. I don't remember, but it's like every time we start growing and building our communities, something happens that causes it to be a shutdown. And I always say not that long ago, these things happened. Rosewood wasn't that long ago. There was an incident in the 80s, as early as the 80s, I believe it was in Philadelphia, when a community decided that they would not use government electricity. They were building their own community. They actually bombed a whole community in Philadelphia. Children, women, men, they, took arms and they were, growing their own little community, their own little city. And because the government didn't like that, they actually dropped bombs on these people. A lot of people don't know about that. So whenever we start building, that the government comes in somehow, some way to try to destroy it or infiltrate it with people that's coming in acting like they're your friend, or they're trying to help the government, or maybe someone high up in the community, in that particular Black community, is paid off, and that causes the failure of it. So we need to get to the point where we get more political understanding, more education, that understand that we vote, we go to these different meetings, and we understand economics and our power in the economic system, because we have a lot of power in the economic system. Also, like we talk about people, we're not owning our establishments. Understand this. People are paying attention to the movement in the Black communities. They understand that we want to purchase from Black establishments. So guess what they do? Hire Black people to sit in front as if it's their place. I've been seeking out a Black beauty supply. So there's a beauty supply that I went into, and I was excited because I thought it was Black owned, and it wasn't. It was owned by Asians, but the Blacks ran it. And this is something that you're seeing more and more often, because people are understanding that we are trying to grow our communities, and we are making moves, and we are serious about it. And because of the orange man that's in office right now, we know that we have to make moves. I won't say that name, but we have to make moves. Their thing is to try to make us go and rewind and revert and go backwards, but we refuse to go backwards. We're not going to go backwards. We're going to go forward, and we're going to go forward stronger and smarter. So we all have to make the move to do that together, as communities, and with our dollars.
That's so true. But we also have to learn how to be not afraid to take chances, to the point of something we believe in, that God has given us to do.
Exactly.
Because see, what creates wealth is trends. And see, we have been educated in our schools. We have been educated on our jobs. We have been even educated by our parents to take a trend instead of create one. For so long, you were told to go to school, work hard in school, learn everything you can, go to college so you can take a good job. But we don't always say, okay, learn all you can, but then take what you can and then start a business. We have gotten to the point that a lot of the big things, and let's take something that would blow you away. The owner and the creator of the Super Soaker, the water guns, he made 100, and when I was reading this, $168 million. Some of y'all say, wow, that's a lot of money. That's good money. And it is for him. But the company that bought him out, or he partnered with, only gave him, I think it was 7 to 8% or 14%. Somewhere it was below 15% of the profits. He signed away all that. Now you say he was able to pay, but they made almost $4 billion off his venture. About that. $4 billion. They gave him a fraction of 1/4 of what they made. When you look at a lot of these things, a lot of these inventors, and a lot of these places, we feel that now there's nothing wrong with partnering with anybody, but know your worth. But we got to understand that there are people that may have the cure for AIDS. There are people that might have the cure for cancer. There are people that got to conceive. And remember, I said this. I know I got $2 billion products. I know it. I've been seeing it in a dream, And for so many years and so much time, I said, let me get a franchise. Let me get in a business opportunity. But the other day, the Spirit told me, why not try what I gave you? Because what I gave you can set trends. And if you get big enough in it, people will pay you to learn it. Now, you can really do something in the community if you want to. Do you know for years, the biggest business person that we had in Chicago was Oprah? Think about that. Was Oprah. Oprah was making the most money in Chicago. You got to think about that. Where's all these people? All these people that's in our community that's talented, you're running behind somebody else trying to do something instead of getting your own out. And some of you going to fail. That's a part. But don't mean you're going to fail all the time. And look at the odds that God gave us. I can fail 100 times, 1,000,000 times. I always tell the story. I'll tell it again. Procter & Gamble want to create a cleaner solution. They want to create a solution that was none like no other. And they failed 400 times. And then they kept at it one more time, 401. Then they did it 402. Then they did it 403. Then they did it 404. Then they did it 405. Then they did it 406, 407. Then they did it 408. And finally they got it right on 409. And the owner said, well, what we going to call this? He said 409. Think about that. Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times before he got it right. But he kept going. And look, we got lights today. The question is, people, I love to have a McDonald's, but I love for my own restaurant to be in McDonald's status. See, Jim Crow was different. Jim Crow was equal but separate, but it was never equal. But think about something. If you had your own, you can stop some of this. You can start some trends if you had your own. And I won't, like I say, the money when I invest, I'm investing in my own product. I'd rather fail big than succeed under somebody else's umbrella. Go ahead.
I love that what you said. You love to own a McDonald's, but you love to have your own establishment have McDonald's status. That's hot. I like that. That
is still my stuff.
I love that. How many times have Blacks invented something or accomplished something, discovered something amazing and didn't get the credit for it in the past? Now we have the opportunity and the information to make things happen and make sure that we get the credit for it. The only way you're not going to get the credit for it, the only way you're not going to reach your goals and dreams is if you give it up on your own. Like you just have to say, you just have to stop and stop believing in yourself. Anything that you want to do, you can do it. Anything you want to have, you can have it. You just have to have the faith to do it. You have to believe in yourself. Along with accomplishments, there's going to be failures. Get back up, brush yourself off, take a breath, keep it moving. You got to keep going. You got to keep going forward. Every person, has their place and their time in life, and you do have a purpose. Just keep it moving. Keep it moving, keep it going. If God gave you something, you better hurry up and do it.
I'm about to.
You better hurry up and do it.
And and here's the thing, people. Let's get out of this illusion of success. Let's get out of this illusion there's no money. Because if you look at all the money that is made in Chicago, in the Black communities alone, with the churches collect over $100 million alone in the Black communities. You could buy in all the churches. All the liquor stores and the grocery stores and the corner stores do in the Black neighborhood over $150 million a year. That's all the corner stores. Now, I'm not even talking about the gas stations, what they do in the Black communities constantly. there is money always being made. Now go on the west side. The city is making money off construction work, where you see people doing construction work, laying pipes, but you don't see no black folks over there. You don't see none of the neighborhood community. How many of these stores that said, I appreciate them bringing us their money. Let me have hot dogs and Polish sausage for them. Let me do a block club meeting just to show my appreciation. They don't do that. And they talk to you like any kind of way. They say whatever they want to say to you. And they're pushing that alcohol in your system. Man, listen, they don't live where you live at. They just make their money there. And then a lot of them get involved with our girls, our women. And this is what they do. All they need is a perception. That okay, you're buying from each other. See, they always put a black lady some on the register while they cooking the food, because they want you to interact with your people to know you're buying from your people. That's a deep misconception, because see, they figure you can't buy from black, but at least you buy to blacks from blacks. See, but you ain't black owned, but you blind too. But see, it's a mental stimulation, because you say they want you to say, at least they did hire a black first.
Exactly. That's the same thing I was just talking about going into that black beauty store, beauty supply store, and it was all black, and I'm excited. And then I'm like, oh, is this black owned? No, we're not black owned. We're just black ran. So that let me know right there, not only with, going into the restaurants like the Sharks and things of that nature, where you have the black female at the register and the guys are in the back cooking. We know that it's not a black owned establishment, but they want to create that persona, right, like they're, down for the black community. But in reality, they're just taking our money just like everybody else.
And think about this. Most of the majority of the managers, not regional managers, but majority of the store managers and system managers in Popeyes, Harold's, Popeyes, Churches, and Browns are black. You know why? Because you associate black with fried chicken. You're getting, oh man, this is the chicken. Hey y'all, what up, Vanessa? Vanessa, we get into it about lying about our communities, saying that we are in poor communities and ghettos when there is plenty of money, plenty of resources, but we don't own none of it. And everybody is coming in here and they're turning this into a big vacuum. Now, don't get misled by this perception. And I just ran down all the businesses owned in Chicago. And see, none of them is dealing with finances. None of them is dealing with empowering our people. None of them is dealing with building our community. See, as long as you can serve a meal, you can fix somebody's hair, you can buy somebody some clothes or sell them some clothes, but you better not sell them an economical strategy. You better not sell them how they can get a business or get a loan. You better not tell them how they can get out of there. Let me see what Vanessa said. There are too many opportunities for us to be broke on
so many levels.
And that's true. That's because nobody's owning nothing. Now, here, I want you to, this is how they get you with the perception of you're doing something good. From 2007, like you said, to 2013, there was an increase in black-owned firms. Right now in the United States, there's 2.6 million black-owned firms. Now, I know somebody out there like, wow, we got 2.6 million black businesses. Ha! But let me tell you something about those black businesses, okay? 95% of those black businesses are mostly sole proprietorships and partnerships, which they have no employees. 95% of $2.6 million businesses they have no employees. So now think about this. All you doing is working for somebody else or working for yourself with your name on it, where you can't help or empower your community. See, I don't mind you owning nothing. I just don't want you to do nothing positive and building or uplifting for your community. That's the reason why I said what I said about it's easy for all these Facebook preachers to get on Facebook and give this great sermon and this great word of God, but don't do nothing, say nothing about the truth in the community, or even try to help the community with jobs or anything. See, we got all these people that pacify us like alcohol does and like drugs do. It's to pacify the community like we're doing something good. Because see, somebody's getting our money, because if there was no money in the community, you think it'd be all those stores owned by all these Indians, by all these Koreans, by all these Pakistanis, and all these foreign people. If there was no money in the community, the only thing is you're not getting it. But you're buying. You know, and they're going to take every little bit you got. Sometimes they even let you sell your baby stuff to get a drink. And where you at? You in front of a liquor store begging. You in front of a grocery store begging. You got people out there want to sell their link. And think about that. They'll give you a little link. They'll give, and right, I talked about churches. Well, we got over $100 million being collected in churches, but nobody is coming out these churches to do anything. And think about this. A church is tax exempt. Listen, if the churches all got together and put their money together, we can have our own grocery stores, laundromat businesses, because you're not paying no taxes.
Mm-hmm. We don't come together and support one another, and that's what I said. That's the number one thing. We have to come together and support one another, and it has to come on both ends, from all angles.
And here, this is the thing about that. I was saying, out of $2.6 million business, 2.6 million businesses in the United States, 95% of sole proprietorship and partnership, 4 out of every one of those 10 are either in healthcare, they're in social assistance, or they're in service like repair, maintenance, or personal laundry services. None of them are in finances. None of them are in job development or job creation. None of them is empowerment and uplifting. See, it is good to own your own business, but what makes it powerful is that you empower your people. See, one thing is, you know, and listen, I think that's a phenomenal number. I think that's a blessing that we have 2.6 million Black-owned firms. But we need jobs, and we need information, and we need help in the communities. Because I'm a God, and I call myself a Christian, I got to want for you what I want for myself. It says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. We got to build our communities up by doing our own. Now, the way we're going to do that is create our own, by our own ideas, with God in our spirit, by asking God to reveal what he put in us so that we can create wealth, generational wealth, and national wealth. And we can only do that by creating something, not taking a pattern. There's a book in you, and I know you got a book. Spirit revealed that in me.
I got a few books.
There's a book in you. There's a business in you. There's something in you that you feel like, I got to go take up somebody else's mantelpiece. I got to learn somebody else's system. You can do something. It's the things that people don't think that will work. Those are the billionaires. Those are the loan money. And when you get that money, now you can do major things in the community. And don't worry about assassination, because you're going to die anyway in a stagnated, stuck place anyway if you don't do nothing different. Mm-hmm. So let me get the wealth by the product that I have and the books that I'm going to release. See, I'm going to do something that Chance the Rapper, and I'm going to tell you why I love Chance the Rapper, and I'm going to give my girl. Chance the Rapper that gives the money directly to the community. He gives the money directly to the schools. See, all these middle people and all these middle people, give the green piece or give to here. I ain't giving it to nobody but themselves. I don't need to give. If there's a man homeless right there that needs something to eat, why do I need to give it to April or give it to him? Because April gonna give him half of that. Not saying you will, and right. That's what the community is. See, this stuff is not getting down to the grassroots. And people, if you want to call in again, 708-223-8953, 708-223-8953 and comment. But again, we got to create. Inventions create trends. Now, I'm not saying don't do a franchise, don't do a business structure. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is if you're going to go down, give it all. Because see, when you got something new and it's good, it's going to take off. Go ahead.
You said a mouthful. Like, you don't need me today. Like, you on it.
No,
You are on it. I don't know. I agree with everything you said. Vanessa said that she said that we have a lack of resources, but we are on the internet often. So meaning that we're doing other things. We could look up information. The information is there. All we got to do is seek it out instead of being on the internet for other things. That's what I'm thinking. She says she's in business for herself and been blessed to help others to do more than what she ever expected, which is awesome. Good job. And that's pretty much it.
And see, that's what I love. That's why I love Vanessa. That's why I love you, Vanessa. And that's why I hold you in such high regards. I'm going to have you on my show soon because I know April here want to meet you bad. And I love Tom with Earl. Because, see, we can all make money. But can you make money by helping other people grow and become something? See, we've gotten out of a point where we got this mentality that we make it, somebody else can make it. Instead of limiting a hand. When Peter got out of the boat, and Jesus, he said, Lord, if it be you, bid me to come. And Jesus said, come. Peter started walking on the water, but then Peter looked at the water, his circumstances, and started to drown. Jesus didn't let him drown. Jesus put his hand out and pulled Peter up. And he said, ye of little faith. See, we think history has been written, but it's constantly being written every single day. You know, history is his story, and it's your story is still being written. You got ideas. Do you know there has been a lot of things. When I was young, I wrote a book for school called Vampires in Love. I never did nothing with it. I still got it on my hard drive, my old computer. This was when I was I was in high school when I wrote this. And I remember the lady gave me my first job, read it and said, this is going to be big. Do you know, look at Twilight. Twilight is a story about a vampire falling in love. Mm-hmm. When you look at a lot of things, I'm going to tell you something. There are about 15 products that I said that I wanted to do that I've seen somebody else doing it. Mm-hmm. And you know why I didn't do it? Because I kept telling my dreams to naysayers and dream killers. And then I would always go to who I felt was a professional man. Because they got money or they're in the right circles. They can tell me, no, you're just in the right circle because you made a good move. But it doesn't mean that you know, because see, I realized this. God didn't give everybody the vision, so they ain't going to see what I see.
Exactly. You have to keep your mouth closed, unfortunately, on certain things. And I learned that the hard way, just as you did. Writer. So in high school, you know, of course, that was my thing. We did our little music thing in high school, and I had a incident where one of my guys, you know, so-called friend guys, who was he was a rapper or whatever. We all did our thing, and he actually took my lyrics from a rap that I did and wrote it and everything, and it caused me to just stop doing it and stop sharing. So I stopped for like a long time. And there's been occasions where like you thought of something and you didn't walk it out and somebody else is doing it. I can give you a great, perfect example. Beyonce's song, Cater to You. That song was a concept song for me. Like I was writing a song for singing group or whatever, and I was coming up with a concept song about catering, to my man, taking care of a guy, thinking of the things that a guy likes. So I'm asking other guys about things that a guy like. Next thing I know, Beyonce coming out with this song like a few months later. I'm like, oh no, that's my song. It was amazing. I was like, wow, that is so crazy. And it was like, it was awesome to hear the song that it was hers, but I was like disappointed that I didn't create the song. I didn't go in the studio and record a song talking about that whole concept, because that was my whole concept. And she came out with that song, and I was like, wow, like I totally blown away. So
Wow.
if it says if God give you something, you need to act on it, or He'll give it to somebody else.
Right. Because true. Because I used to be in comedy. I'd be hilarious. But I kept running into all these little middlemen that kept making money off me, and I stopped. But I used to love house music at one point. Mm-hmm. And I had a little studio, not a little studio, but a little keyboard, and I would go into the studio. And I did a tape of good house music. And it was really good house music. That's when back in the day, I don't know if y'all remember the Lil Lewis and the French Kiss and all that, and the Jack Master Farley funk and house music. And
I hear it now.
I did a whole CD of some amazing songs. And at that time, I was working at the Best Western Hotel on 9th North Michigan. I was working in the gift shop. And this a Europe star, his name is Terrence FM. In there, he was like, man, I'm big over here in Europe, and they love house music over here, man. I'm about to leave, man. I need to hear something. So I gave him a tape, a Memorex tape, and my number, and I never heard nothing from him. I happened to look him up, and when I looked him up, he had one of the biggest house albums over in Europe. And he didn't change not one concept of my music. He never reproduced that. Now, I couldn't prove that, because that was the CD. That was the greatest thing. That was everything. But then I realized, okay, wow. And that's why when we think about these things, with these things we can create, we can change the wealth structure in our communities. Because think about something, and let me break it down, numbers on how our community is kept at bay. See, other races understand something that we have not yet got. There's money in power, and there's power in money. Now, I said it two different ways, but it means two different things. There's money in power, but there's also power in money. And it's going to make sense when I give you these numbers. White-owned businesses produce in Chicago. This is going to blow you guys away. White-owned businesses in Chicago I'm sorry, not in Chicago, in the United States. Let me get it right. White-owned businesses in the United States create $55.9 million of jobs. Million jobs per year. That's what they create. That 55.9 million jobs a year. That means the entire Caucasian race, they can produce 45% of the jobs. They can do that. Here's the thing. That's $12.9 trillion a year that they create. Power. I'm going to show you how that's power. If they wanted to, from that number, they can take everybody in the white race and pay them $102,000 every year. Now, if they saturate certain communities with certain economical advantages, they can control everything. Is the 5% of the wealth that controls the country. Because again, there's money in power and there's power in money. So being that they produce all this money, everybody's going to listen to $12.9 trillion. Okay? Let's take the Asian race. Asian race create 3.8 million jobs for their community a year in the United States. Okay? That's 33%. That means if you take all the Asian race in the United States, if they combine all their wealth, and which they produce $793.5 billion, that means they could take every Chinese person in the United States and pay them $67,000 a year. Think about this. I want you all to really get this. Let's take Hispanics. Hispanics produce a year 2.5 million jobs, and that's 8%. And they produce, for as a race in the United States, $473.6 billion. That means every Hispanic person in the United States, they can pay them $14,000 a year. Now let's talk about the black race. Okay? The black race in the United States from black-owned business only produce 1 million jobs for black folks a year. In the United States, 1 million. So our black-owned businesses, which is 95% sole proprietorships, which is 95% partnerships, only produce in the United. Now, think about this. There's 2.6 million black-owned firms, but in the United States, but it only produced 1 million jobs. 1 million jobs a year from black folks. Now, let's take every black person, $187.6 billion. That's what our black firms make a year, produce money. Now, out of $187.6 billion, you only produce 1 million jobs. That means that if we pay with that revenue, every black person in the United States, we can only pay them $7,000 a year. That's it. $7,000 a year. Now, let's add up the money that is spent on welfare. Let's add up the money that is spent on WIC and a lot of these government programs, which they're trying to cut out. Do you know they average to about $7,000 to $10,000 a year? Think about those numbers, people. Think about them numbers. But all our money is going out. See, the reason why they can control us is because they control the money. Now, the money in our community is controlled to control us. Because if we start owning businesses, we start owning homes, because we only own less than 19% of over a million homes. We own less than 19%. If we start owning stuff, then we don't have to go to them or anybody else for help. We don't have to sell dope. See, if we stop buying from people and stop being a consumer, then they would have to pack up and leave. You know, I talked about on a show not too long ago where I was talking about the guy who was hiring people no matter what. And he said, Minister Wright, I was so disappointed on how many people didn't call me, didn't want jobs, didn't want to do anything. What I would rather hang out and get that fast money so I can live that fast death and that long life in prison. Think about that. I just broke down the reason why you're economically deprived. Now you have money because you have $187.6 billion that comes through your communities on a regular basis in the United States. The problem is they come through your community, but they go in somebody else's pocket. I just blew up. What?
Yes, very. Those numbers are very sad. Very, very sad. Um, wow.
Think about that. $12.9 trillion of revenue white-owned businesses do. That means that they can pay their people. If every white business owner and business person got together and said, we want to pool our resources, they can pay each other $102,000 a year. Even Asians can pay $67,000 a year. We can only pay our people $7,000 a year. Why? Now let's talk about invention.
We need to sit and let that marinate.
Think about
all that marinate. That needs to marinate for real.
And do you know why? Own something, but not just own something. They're creating trends.
Mm-hmm.
You think about something. Everything that is created. You look at Jabot jeans. You look at the price of Michael Jordans. What they cost to pay over there. They pay them maybe $10 or $15 to make those shoes, but they're gonna charge you $240, but they're paying for the name. Now, I'm going to tell you something about Michael Jordan, about business. Michael Jordan made a lot of money. Michael Jordan's a billionaire. But you know, when Michael Jordan retired for good from the Wizards, the league made $9.9 billion off Michael Jordan. $9.9 billion. You had stadiums that was not even filling up at one point, like the Clippers, they had standing room only when Michael came in. Do you know the league was going down? And they paid Michael almost $100 million under the table to come back and play those last 2 seasons with the Wizards so that he could bring back the luxury and bring back the visual and bring back the ratings back up to the NBA
status.
The status, because it's all a business. Do you know, just like I pointed out some shows ago, that you killing that organ donors or black market organ trade is a big market, and you're providing them with all the stuff by you killing each other, and all the black blood that's spilled on these streets. You own nothing, own anything, because you know why? You feel like you got to go take a job. I got a good job. I work for the city. I got a good job. You know, I'm now on dispatcher. I got a good job, but you know what? I know that I need to own my own business, because then I got to deal with, because see, I don't have to deal with politics. I don't have to deal with a lot of things when you own your own. Now, you have to deal with some things, but the difference is you can't be fired, or you have to deal with anybody else. You can see the fruit of your labors.
Mm-hmm.
But
and you have to labor.
And you got to labor. But what is you own? What are you doing? See, right now, and I'm sorry, but I'm
You're fine.
I know I look good, but I'm talking about, let me talk. What I'm saying is, I am trying to inspire, and I'm trying to appeal to somebody that's sitting on the next multi-billion-dollar idea. This idea and the things that God gave me, I have been sitting on for almost 20 years. And money I have saved up. You know, so many people tell me, Corey, don't leave your job. You know, have something in place. Sometimes you got to step out on faith, because it ain't gonna never be a good time to leave a good job. But sometimes you got to realize, you want to be a slave or you want to be free and do something for people. Trends set neighborhoods free. Jobs set neighborhoods free. In order for us to really see a decline in violence in people, we need to get rid of all these Facebook preachers, all these collect money teachers, and we need some community leaders that has the heart, the mind, the spirit for the community. Because our resources are there. Somebody else is just reaping the benefits from it. Go ahead.
That's it. The resources are there and somebody else just reaping the benefits. Wow. Yeah, we all need to marinate on this one. Well, maybe we don't have a show tomorrow. We replay this one.
Oh no, we got Dr. Tony Branson.
I'm kidding. But we do need to marinate on this, because that's a Those are some big numbers. Wow. I don't know. I'm just very thrown. I mean, I knew it was bad, but I didn't know it was that bad. Like it's horrible. I don't know if anybody else knew, but I didn't know. I'm just keeping it honest and keeping it real. We definitely need to change our minds, open our minds, and be ready for the change that's out here, the change that's open to you. Walk through that door, walk through that, walk into that window of opportunity that is open to you. Don't be so afraid that you get out your own way. That's what I need to say. Just get out your own way, because God is right here, and God is blessing. God is showing people things all around me. So it's got to be all around you. It's 6 degrees of separation. So I know somebody, if not yourself, is having some mind-blowing experiences, and you need to just walk in it. You got to do it, because everybody has a purpose, and your gift is your moneymaker. Whatever you the best at, whatever you good at, whatever edifies you, makes you happy, gives you joy, that's your moneymaker. Go do it. Just go do it. Walk in it. Write that book. Step on the stage and do whatever it is you need to do. Start your restaurant, making your cupcakes or making meals for people. Start just going out doing different things. Maybe you have outreach in your blood. Do that. It's gonna make you money somehow, some way. It's gonna come. If you start walking in your gift, the money's gonna come.
There's a show on Channel 7 called Shark Tank. Shark Tank is people that come on there with new products. And there are a lot of people that come on there, but I love Shark Tank, and I'm an avid watcher of Shark Tank. It's one of my favorite shows. But I want you to think about something. How many blacks you see on that show? Dave, how many blacks with products that you see coming on there? How many? You can count them on. Not because they don't want it, because you got Damon on there. You got a lot of people on. Not because they don't want products, because everybody feels that we have to take on or take up somebody else's mantelpiece. We have some brilliant, creative people in our communities. Today's post on Facebook was about taking a chance and doing something different today. Because see, one thing, there's never going to be the right time to do something. Now, I want us to have businesses, but there are some people that got family recipes that's just as good as Harold's, as good as Uncle Remus. Start your own business.
That's what the Colonel had, right? He had his mother's recipe. That's what he started with.
Colonel's, his mother recipe. Somebody got good cooking. Somebody is a good investor. I was looking at this school. It's called the Online Trading Network, or Online Trading Academy. And in order to do that, you have to pay $12,500 to be in their school. $12,500 to learn what they learn, and don't mean that it's going to work out. But they got your money. But there was a thing of Black Wall Street. There's another brother that's on Facebook, I forgot his name, that said he could teach you. But see, the question is, how many of us dealing in financial businesses? How many of us dealing in banks? How many is dealing in building up the community? See, a lot of times we get into business, we go get us a barbershop, we go get us a restaurant, we go get us a franchise. We think about that. And then I'm not knocking anything. Please don't think I'm knocking anybody. But there are a lot of businesses like that. There are a lot of insurance companies. Not saying the wrong insurance, please. Ain't no wrong insurance. You need insurance. But why? Because the perception is you're worth more dead than alive. Right now, I sit up here right now. I have a big insurance policy through my job, insurance policy through my mom. I have a big insurance policy. Right now, I'm worth more dead than I am alive. How many people in our community right now is worth more dead than alive? How many people leave their kids? The Bible said leave your kids an inheritance, but they leave them a bill. How many people leaving them a bill?
Exactly.
Don't give them a will, but a bill. You know, and listen, the funeral company, they're gonna be nice to you. They're gonna they're gonna bring a limo, they're gonna treat you good because they know they're gonna make about 15, 20 grand off of your deceased loved one. I remember saying something to somebody that years ago that was a funeral director. And she was like, why not a funeral home? And I'm like, I can't deal with dead people all the time. She said, all we deal with is dead presidents all the time. Because if there's 2 or 3 or 4 funerals a day, that's over 40 or 50 grand made in one day. Are you for real? Ding, 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 ding. You got to think about the businesses. When I read off the list of Black-owned businesses, I did that for a purpose because it took me to get to 52 businesses when I got to somebody that's dealing with giving jobs. What now? See, we got to talk about that. There are people out there, and I know some people are watching that said to me, that's been calling me all around the country saying, Corey, look at this opportunity. Corey, look at this business. And I'm gonna look at yours, you're talking about, and I want to do it. But right now, Corey want to get his own product out. Corey want to fail as Corey and failing as somebody else. Because see, here's the thing. Once you paid somebody else, if you fail to succeed, they don't care. And I always go to these seminars and all these people say, well, we can do all this. Okay, if it's that good, then why not give it to me and let you pay you back later when I make some money? See, I've never went to a seminar where somebody said, you know what? I believe in my system so much that I'll give it to you for free. Try it. And if you don't make no money, I'll take it back. And boom. But if you make money, you pay me back. How many people do that? Warren Buffett, in his book that I read, said that he owns over 20,000 businesses he's never worked. He's never worked. Because he builds networks of wealth. I tell you what, you need $100,000 for this business, I put it up, but I want 30% residual income every year. So say, for instance, he put up $100,000 for a business that you're making $500,000 a year on. Let's say $1 million. He's gonna get $300,000 every year for the rest of your life, or the rest of his life, or the rest of that business, because he has a contract. He just put up $100,000. See, we don't invest in business because we think if we do that, toes. But sometimes we need to create those toes. How did bust their head wide open today, huh?
I'm in the middle of my notes in it. Okay. No, I'm just like really thinking about everything that you're saying. It's real out here. It's real out here. A lot of people are worth more dead than they are alive, but they can change that. That's up to them. It's important for you to have insurance. It's important for you to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and your family. Now, when you have that life insurance policy, you make sure that you have everything set up. You could actually organize your own funeral, however you want it to go. I know people don't like to talk about it, but I always say, if you live, you are going to die. If you're born, you are going to die. We just don't know when. Live your life to the fullest. Do what you can, live your purpose on purpose. Do what do what you're born to do. Make that happen. Learn more about finances. Be able to teach your children about finances. Be able to teach your beneficiaries about finances, the people that you're going to leave your money to when you leave this earth. Invest your money, all that's important. What I'm offering you is a people opportunity, not just a product that's, somebody else's product. This product is for everybody. This product is something that everybody needs. These are products that everybody needs to know about. Everybody needs to learn about. Your finances, I'm trying to get you to generational wealth, starting with yourself, because your grandmother didn't leave you money like that. Your grandfather didn't leave you money like that. We weren't born into money like that. A lot of us. Some people were, very few and far between, but we still need to educate ourselves, and we need to educate our children our little sugar babies and grandchildren about, finances. This is important, and that's all I'm offering you. So if you're interested, give me a call, inbox me, uh, contact me through email, apriltheagent4you@gmail.com. You can contact me on Facebook, April the Agent. Inbox me. You can call me 773-724-8638, and we can get it going. If you're ready to create generational wealth, and you have an open mind, and you're ready to make a change in your life and the life of your family, contact me, and we can talk about it.
And that's good. And you know what? I encourage everybody to get in contact with her. She has a lot of good information and ability, and believe me, you guys will make wealth. Me personally, I'm just on a thing where I want to create something. I want to create something because I want to set a trend. I want to be, because I want something that is not here yet. Because I want something that lives on. Mm-hmm. Because when you look at a lot of these people that we work for, everything was a vision and a dream. You look at these multi-million-dollar companies, they had a vision and a dream, and they created something that's making a lot of money. Them little things that you put in your finger that spin around and stuff and light up. Do you know they made over $100 million off that thing already?
I mean, the things that they come out with is amazing. I'm like, I'm not spending my money on that. And how much they made off of it?
Over $100 million off that product in the United States.
And people don't even know how to use it correctly. Kids have been cutting their fingers up on that thing and everything else. Like the little toys that they come out with, ridiculous. Making buku dollars on just basic things. So I know that some of you out there have an invention that's out of this world, that is going, if you just put it out there. So you just need to put it out there.
And another thing, you think about something. The lady that created Barney, the purple dinosaur, she did that to entertain her grandkids. Somebody said, I like that. Mm-hmm. She put it out. It's been on Channel 11. It had made over $200-300 million. Mm-hmm. And we think about that. But so we don't know what we have is going to work. Your first novel might not sell many, but the next one might be a New York bestseller. You turn around, now you in line with Spielberg, or you're in line with Stephen King, or you're doing all kinds of
Tyler Perry.
Right.
Tyler Perry, a man that was homeless. Now he is worth millions and millions of dollars, have a gigantic home and numerous cars and studios, and hiring actresses and actors, still putting out films and plays. That is awesome. That's a show to tell you that anything is possible. Anything is possible. People come out of prison and write books or start walking in their talent because this is something that they had in them, and they were imprisoned for so long, and they knew they didn't have a choice but to make a change in their life, and that's what they did. Right now, you need to have that mindset. I don't have a choice but to make a change in my life. I have to do something to make a change in my life. If I want to be a millionaire, if I want to have a better home, if I want to have a better car, if I want to stop riding this bus, I have to be the change that I'm looking for. Stop waiting for somebody else to do it for you. Stop waiting for the government to care, because they're not going to. We have to make the change. We have to become the government. We have to get ourselves in political roles and learn more about political roles, because I'm not really a political person, but I'm just learning myself in the past few years. So we have to start opening our minds and walking into these different scenarios and situations, understanding our voice counts, our money counts, our vote counts, because the money is green. Nobody cares about what color you are when you're spending it. Even though they might walk around and follow you and have their cameras on you, guess what? When you get to that register, they're going to take your money with a smile, thank you, and keep it moving. So you just put money in somebody else's economy. We need to put the money in our own economies.
And don't think that you don't. And again, people of God, thank you for tuning in. Understand that is a lie. I've been working since I was 16 years old, and I'm 44 now. And I was doing something with Social Security that blew me away. I looked up all the money I made since my first job at 16 years old, at 44. Do you know I've made over $3 million? I just messed everybody up. For all you poor people that swear up and down that your money does not matter, I challenge everybody, especially if you even over the age of 30, take the money you made from your very first job and count up every single year. If you go Social Security, they'll give you, because once you work so many years, they'll tell you how much Social Security money you get, how much money you made. If you take all the money you've made in every year of your life, I guarantee you it's in the millions. Now, here's the thing. Out of all that millions of dollars in my hands, all of it went to somebody else, and I have less. That's my own money, my own assets, my own savings. I have less than 100 grand. Matter of fact, I got less than 50 grand. No, I got a little bit more, but I'm saying but I had to take taxes, what's saved up or whatever. What I'm saying. But the reason why I'm saying that, I can say I got less than 100 grand, but I've made millions of dollars. The question is, where did all that money go? It went to somebody else's college fund. It went to somebody else's house. It went to somebody else's Mercedes. It went to somebody else's kids. It went to somebody else's future. Everybody that's listening to this show, I want you to do me a favor. You have homework, and I guarantee you this is going to blow you away. If you count up every year of your life, the income you made every year of your life, to now when you first start working, I guarantee you everybody then had over $2 million. $2 million. Now, let's take the community and all the people in the community. Let's just say, for instance, how many millions of dollars we have given away to the liquor stores, to the clothing stores. How many of hundreds of thousands of dollars we've given to Michael Jordans, to clothes, to suits, to things that cost all this money with a name on it. Many dollars we've given to finance companies that want to charge us 3 times or 4 times what a car is worth for us to drive a new car that depreciates by 1/3 to 2/3 the very next year, or 1/3 when you immediately drive off the lot. How many people do that? How many people we've paid rents to? Because when I look at all the rent I've paid at least 40 grand in rent. Some people pay $200,000-$300,000 in rent. Never owned. My mom is now an owner of a building in her. We've been there. She owned that about 21 years. So my mom is 67. So my mom is 67. She's 67. So she owned her first property in her 50s. So that means she's been paying somebody rent all the way there. And then let's talk about the projects. The projects was a rent bonanza, because if you got everybody paying you $150 and you got all those floors and all the people on there, you're still making good gobs of money, because you're getting government assistance and government money, because it's low income property where there is a lot of tax breaks that businesses and organizations are getting. So you're making money. Now, projects was liquor stores or stores who's making tons of money. There was stores right above. When I lived in Robert Taylor Home, 5323 building, there was a store called Starlight right across the street. And it was getting all the money from all the projects. But everybody from there lived somewhere else. What I'm saying to you people is the lies exposed. If you look at your life, you had more than enough. I could have bought Ferraris. I could have bought houses. I could have had 3 or 4 businesses. 19 franchises. I could have all that, but you know why? I wasn't conditioned to use my money in that factor. I was conditioned to give my money away. See, the slavery is in the mentality, is in our thinking. The change are not mental now. So that's why I started to look at that now. And then I was saying, well, why go after my dreams with the money I got saved up? Because you know why? What sense of me to dine with that money? So I die and try to leave my kids the little money so they can make it off that. Instead, I can leave them a future. People, this is the type of wealth we're giving away. So for 44 years of my life, I've given away my wealth. I've given somebody over $3 million of money I worked for, just like I was in slavery. You know, in slavery, they was paid nothing to work they were working. And we're doing the same thing. By overliving, being overextended, and giving away our wealth freely. I don't have to hunt you down for your money. I just open up a store and you'll come in and buy it. People, it's a lie. Ghetto is a state of mind. You got the money, you got the resources, and you got the ideas. If you don't use them, then don't get mad at being slaves. Go ahead.
Always stop me when I'm in the middle of my thoughts, man.
That's powerful. I'm telling you, think about it.
Keep going. I'm in the middle of my thoughts.
And that's something to think about. From 16 all the way into 44, I've made $3 million in my life and don't have nothing to show for it. Somebody else made all that money. And see, if you look at your life, and I'm telling you, people of God, do it. Count up every single year of your life, the money you made, and you'll realize what you are doing and what your community done. Look at all the money you've spent. I'm going to tell you something. There was a man that for every pack of every cigarette he smoked, he put $1 in a jar. Smoked for 27 years. When he stopped smoking 27 years later, he bought a house and a brand new car. Think about that. Go ahead.
Say that again. He did what?
He bought a brand new house and a car. For every cigarette he smoked, he put up $1. Mm-hmm. And when it was all said done, he had enough to buy a brand new car and a brand new house.
Mm-hmm. So you gave everybody a homework to do. Now, homework was to add up all the money that you've made since you ever started working and see how much you've made, and think about where that money went to. So I want to do what's been done before, which is a piggy bank challenge, where you go and you spend, whenever you go and spend money, you don't spend your coins, you only spend dollars. Do that for 1 month and see how much money you come up with. And we're going to come back in 1 month and hopefully you guys call in or put in the comments and tell us what you came up with, and see if this is something that could help you maybe save money, or see how much money you could put towards something more positive in your life, edifying your life, going on vacation, investing, something like that. Investing for the future. So that's what I want to do, a piggy bank challenge. What you think?
Sounds good.
Okay.
So, and next time we have April, we're going to have April have her total.
Yeah.
What she made in her year, her life.
Monthly. Oh, Lord.
What she made in her life. And see if it ain't in the millions.
Not much. I wasn't a baller yet, but
no. Every little job, and you go to Social Security, they'll tell you how much you made. I made over $3 million in my lifetime. Since I started to work from 16 all the way to 44, my salaries added up for all those years. I made over $3 million that I put in somebody else's pocket. So people have got.
I'm doing my closing. Am I doing a closing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So my closing, I want to say that the way that we address each other, the way that we view each other, and the way that we envision ourselves in the future matters. When I say that, I'm talking about the way that we interact with each other, as men and women. I've had situations and friends, I'm sure we all have, when we meet our girlfriends and we calling each other B or H or something else out of our name other than queen, beautiful, lovely, something positive, and the way we view ourselves, that's important. That's a part of us building up our community and building each other up. We need to edify ourselves, edify our communities. We need to think about what we're teaching our children, how we're teaching our children to address themselves and to view themselves, and just create a mindset of empowerment. And also, I'm going to go back to my suggestion about choosing one product or a group of products to purchase from a Black-owned establishment. I think that's something that we could start to do to start building up our community and building up our economics. If you buy like certain products, maybe your toiletries, maybe getting your nails done, getting your hair done, find a Black establishment to be a consumer with that you like, that you enjoy. And if you're in that Black establishment and they're not as friendly as you would like them to be, or they don't have the customer service that you feel like they should have, not necessarily do you need to say something to them, but you can say something to them in a different manner. Maybe you can do like a suggestion box, not necessarily their suggestion box, but you can write them a little note and let them know maybe if you change this and that, maybe you can grow your business a little bit more, instead of being like confrontational. I don't know, that just came to me.
Okay.
We need to just teach each other and be open to growth in our communities and things of that nature. Break out and climb out of the mindset of poor, P-O-O-R. That means passing over opportunities regularly. You want to open your mind to different things. Open your mindset. Be a little more risk-taking, not in a negative way, but risk-take to do something different, to have a different result. You keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep having the same result. You have to do something different. You have to listen to your inner being. You have to listen to yourself and listen to your spirit man telling you, giving you advice and showing you different directions to go in.
All right, people, God, thank you for tuning in. Tune in tomorrow. I have Dr. Tony Branch going from a group house to the Gray House. We're gonna talk about people that grew up in foster care, group homes, and how they turned their life around and great. So tune in tomorrow, people. Again, if it was easy, there'd be no Minister Corey Wright. If it was easy, there'd be no April the Agent. If it was easy, there'd be no Earl Winfrey and IntellectualRadio.com. But most important, if it was easy, there'd be no you. People, see you at work. Peace.
People get ready, there's a train coming.